Take a moment to relax, settle yourself, and enter into your meditative state. When you're ready, calling in your guides, whatever protection, setting a specific intention to be a neutral observer as we work through this meditation. The goal is not to fix, as you're not broken. The goal is to explore and to balance into a broader collective experience. Center yourself within your loving heart. And then think of an interaction you had with another person in your recent past, in which you could feel yourself triggered by an emotional response. Something right around the 5 to 7 scale out of 10. Nothing too extreme. And don't do anything with it just yet. Just recall the fact that you were triggered without judging the event, without judging your response, or trying to explain it. Just simple awareness, observation. First, take a moment to even celebrate that you are aware of this trigger. So often, when we're triggered, we have an automatic response. And before we know it, we're out of control. And so that awareness alone is enough. And now what you're doing with that awareness is deciding you want to explore it further. Now that you're in a calmer state, no longer so charged by that emotion. And now also recognize that charge is presenting an opportunity to become more complete and whole. Notice, perhaps, that trigger has played out, not just in that one moment, but likely over a pattern across recent memory and perhaps even years. But for now, we'll deal with this one experience so we can discover the hidden treasure beneath it and perhaps delve into even a deeper level. Before we step forward and go further, allowing yourself a just proportion of humility, realizing that we're all human, we're all learning, we all make mistakes, and we each have our own perspectives. Whether or not they're justified or correct, they still exist. So give yourself a moment of levity and just giggle within yourself, or give yourself a hug, knowing everything is all right and everything will be all right. Today's meditation is not about fixing it. It's about exploring. So what we're going to do first, as our next step, is to approach this experience with some compassion as we're in our meditative mindset, so we can better understand this trigger or this gift that arose for you. We're going to take time and give ourselves permission to appreciate it, to accept it. You don't have to like it, but try to love it. And eventually allowing it to fade into the background. So next, we'll start setting the stage for us to realize this from our best objective viewpoint. Visualize for a moment there's a stage, but you're standing up on the balcony viewing this play below. Place yourself in that other person who was involved in this experience down on that stage below. Doing this allows your higher self to sit in this balcony as an observer, viewing these two actors from a removed and neutral standpoint. Thanking both of the actors, you and the other person, for their willingness to be in this play, so you can have the greatest opportunity to explore this within your meditative review. And so next, set your intention to learn and grow by giving this chosen time and space of this catalyst your undivided attention. With a viewpoint of unconditional acceptance, just allow the scene to play out, remembering that you are also the director of this play. So try not to add any other actors or distractors into this private showing. Don't look at the emotions yet, just the actions and the words. Just like reading a script. Person A did this, person B did this. I did this, they did that. Not why, but just specifically the facts. No interpretations or rationalizations at this point. Just let the film roll. Let it play out. And after you've played it through, repeat this cycle a few times, taking in every detail of what your various senses can pick up. What did it smell like? What other things were around you? You'll notice as you repeat through this cycle a couple times that it begins to lose its coloration and intensity. It just becomes a set of facts, just like you're watching a movie. You're not trying to get rid of the whole charge, but just allowing the coloration to calm a little bit. From this position and seeing that experience, you realize that the experience does not define you, and nor does it define the other person. And it's from this viewpoint that you begin to navigate a little deeper as we begin to hunt for these treasures. beginning to see what can be unearthed as we dig a little deeper. Allowing yourself to be fully engaged. The actors have walked off the stage. And even though they've left, there's still the essence of a fog that remains. That is the emotional charging that brought your attention to the situation. Viewing it now, what is the main theme that comes up for you in this experience? What main emotion or feeling is bubbling up and revealing? Bowing your head and giving some thanks to the spirit of that emotion for its willingness to come here today as a supportive teacher. As you respect and honor the spirit of this surface emotion, and still refraining from judgment or adding to the story, notice the intensity of the unthinking emotional reaction. Giving yourself a little bit of space as we sit with that emotion. Now let's connect and take note of the surface emotion you are feeling from this response. Remember, we're approaching this not as the individual, but from that neutral standpoint of your soul. That same being that called you into this lifetime for these experiences. So you can learn and develop in the ways, balancing love and understanding, growing in the essence of love. From this standpoint of the soul, you have the best and broadest position from both to view and to learn. You allow its spaciousness to begin to filter down past the first levels of impulsivity and self-judgment. And you allow yourself the space and the time for this emotion to tell its story to you. Sinking into the roots of your consciousness and beginning to be able to feel each emotion as a more distinct, pure and clarified color. Going deeper into this single emotion to see what it naturally reveals, what might be below it. Where did it first come up in your life? Deciding if you want to work with that original emotion, or if there's something a layer deeper that seems even more pertinent in this moment. It matters not, just choose one to make relations with and discover. So that we may now go into contemplating this emotion. Take a moment to discover the virtue of this emotion. How might this emotion serve? How might it benefit you? How might you want to keep this emotion to use sometimes. And then likewise, when it's overcharged and impulsive, how might it hinder the flow of love and light? You see, it's not about the emotion, but by the way we choose to allow it to be expressed. How it might be your current bias through which you engage with an experience. Give this person with this current bias and this emotion of how it's being expressed some love and acceptance. Know that you too are a diamond in the rough. No different than anyone else. Now we're going to honor this emotion even further by exaggerating its experience. Picture over on the wall, there's a dimmer switch. And that dimmer switch is currently set at a 5, representing the emotion that we're exploring. Let's go over to that dimmer switch and slowly adjust it upward and downward and see how that feels within your body. Feel its presence, its power. Feel how at an 8 or 9 that emotion would interpret the experience. And then look at that same experience, turning that emotion down to a 2 or 3, and how it might be perceived a little bit differently. Notice that when the emotion is being used as a virtue in an experience, it's an expression of love. But yet also notice how the emotion being used as a vice is also rooted in love. It's there to be a teacher, to show you where you're not free yet. Each opportunity is a choice to express lovingly or defensively, to be overstimulated or ignored. Give this emotion some love in all of its expressions. Thank it for being a teacher. See how this emotion can be used to expand and likewise to shrink into fear and separation. You can see now that the emotion is just a tool, and you are the chooser of how to apply it. And then imagine the opposite side of this coin. In other words, choose an opposite of the emotion. It doesn't have to be exact. But bring in its opposite. Think for a moment how that opposite also has a virtue and a vice. How that opposite also has ways to be lovingly expressed or restrictive and controlling. Looking back at your experience, using this opposite emotion, how might that experience shift? Going over to that dimmer switch for this emotion, turning it up and down, seeing how that feels within you. And what you begin to realize, if you could feel the full spectrums of both of these emotions, the perceived polar opposites within you, that they all exist within you. It's just within your current bias, you have chosen one fraction of one emotion to come forward. But they're all there. And likewise, they're all there in each other person, including that person in the play. They have that full expression of emotion within them, but yet they choose one degree. See if you can lovingly begin to accept that all exists within you, that you are not the experiences, but you're just a chosen expression through that experience in one soul moment. The soul represents the vast experience, like a sun radiating in 360 degrees. And you in this one lifetime is just one degree of that experience. And the other person within the play is another degree. But when you pull back to the soul's perspective, you realize that you're all connected. So visualize or imagine a space where these emotions can lovingly coexist. Appreciating the tension that naturally arises between them. And then also seeing the loving essence beneath it all. Seeing yourself as capable of having both sides of the experience. And as you do, the strong impulses start to fade. Bringing that other person back onto the stage, you begin to see them and their biases standing in relation. You begin to realize that they too are trying to find their way through this in the best way they know how, without having the full picture, the complete understanding. We're all just humans guiding one another home. And then taking a moment without feeling the negativity of a critic or taking it personally, calling back in your soul's light and objectively ask for your higher self to guide you, presenting this question. If I could have gone through this experience without trying to predict or control the outcomes, what might have been the highest and the best way? Smile at the solution and let that too float away into the background. You're beginning to realize the treasure that's deep within the ore, the diamond that's beginning to reveal itself through the suffering, seeing the beauty and the purity, knowing that that great pressure is helping you to become more of a complete and balanced being. Mining this gem through the pressure of living life, equally feeling the accentuation of both the positive and the negative, the good or the bad. You see yourself as being acceptable for having both of these experiences within your being, and as a portion of the total being you are destined to awaken to. See that in this way you are not separate from others, but in fact becoming closer with them on this journey. And now that you've taken a moment to mind this experience, give yourself permission for it to fade into the background, like a garment that you used to wear, but now has become transparent. It is not you. Realize that as you go through this life, you are not just the actor within it. You can pull back to be the director. You can also be the audience. You get to write the stories. You get to decide when to play out. Take a moment to thank yourself for going through this experience. Not trying to fully complete it, but just trying to see a little bit more broadly, a little bit more humbly, a little bit more lovingly, smiling, appreciating the journey, appreciating what's ahead, taking a note so that the next time you have this feeling or the emotion arise, you can reflect back to this moment and appreciate it, revealing for you the opportunities ahead. Releasing all that you've went through, accepting where you are on your path, forgiving yourself and others. As you begin to integrate this experience coming back into your body, beginning to wiggle the toes, adjusting the hips, rolling the shoulders, taking a deep sigh, releasing, opening the eyes, bringing the mind back alert and ready to continue back into your day. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.